This picture was done in a collaborative effort, brothers and sisters, between myself and a subscriber named Vanessa Matte. Certainly she wound up trying her hand at using her talents to color and ultimately enhance my pencil and ink drawing. I'm absolutely just floored and speechless, to say the least. But let me know, brothers and sisters, by the number of likes we can put on this video, and let Vanessa know just how much you enjoy this sort of thing, and if you would like to see more collaborations between herself and me.
Chapter 192 of One Piece. This is warning you of tornadoes. I must.
Spike-apuncture, ramming spikes, sea urchin. These are just a few of the terms that will be used in this chapter review of One Piece. Well, hello, my brothers and sisters of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim, and as I just mentioned, I'm here to bring you another awesome review on the epic and awesome tale of One Piece. Our last chapter, of course, saw us with Nami heading off and going toe-to-toe with Miss Doublefinger, and really kind of, coming into her own, not only with her confidence level of being able to fight someone of superior strength, but also the Climate Baton actually figuring out how it works. We know also that there's this awesome tornado blow that she can use, but it's kind of a one-shot dealy type of use. So the chapter ended off, with pretty much Nami going and getting her big girl shoes on and going and saying, hey, you should surrender, type of deal. So that's how things left off. This chapter picks up in a slightly different area. It winds up seeing Sanji become reunited with Chopper and Usopp. He, of course, has reclaimed Usopp's goggles from Mr. Tout Bon Clé and gives them to him, to which Usopp replies, that they're broken, and he starts bitching and complaining, basically. Don't you know I got these from the North Blue and how much they cost and blah, blah, blah. Sanji's not, and it's funny because he's in a full body cast, man. Even his nose is wrapped. I mean, he looks like a mummy. He's just all bandaged up everywhere, from his battle. So and then we also see that Eyelashes the camel, of course, is there, and so they're all reunited, and Sanji is he doesn't care much about what's going on right now with Usopp and him bitching and complaining. He's like, listen, we got to get to the we got to get to the palace and see if Vivi needs help. Chances are Crocodile's there. The shit's hitting the fan. Don't know what's going on. Let's go there to see where we can be of assistance next, right? So then we go and we see a few pages of, and what it is it's it's the fighting that's going on in the city, and it shows the palace, and then there's some of the guards that are out there, the Royal Army and the Royal Guards, saying, hey, listen, I think the princess is in danger, we better get in the palace, that type of thing, because, if the rumors are true, so that Sir Crocodile is trying to take over Alabasta, blah, blah, blah. So as they go to try to approach the palace gate, the palace door, all of a sudden we see up top, we see Nico Robin, right, Miss All Sunday, and she's up there, and she's going to keep them away. So all of a sudden a bunch of hands emerge from the door and start kind of pushing people and smacking them away and everything, and of course holding them at bay. We then go and we see in the actual palace courtyard over there, we see that Sir Crocodile seems like he has went and fetched King Cobra and brought him with him. King Cobra, of course, is all bloodied and beaten, and and he's apologizing to Vivi for her basically wasting her life. He's ruined her life after she gave up everything for her kingdom, and she's like, pa, and all this stuff. So what the bottom line here is that Crocodile, he explains, his whole plan and everything, and he's, okay, before I sit on your throne, and make no mistake, when you overthrow a kingdom, the royal family is going to be killed and obliterated. So you are going to be killed. However, before you are, I would like to know where you keep or where you're hiding the Pluton. Now, I have no idea what the Pluton is, okay? I can only think that it's maybe Oda's version of some kind of highly deadly experimental explosive, like a plutonium, like a nuclear type of deal. And maybe that's why the whole face of the world can be changed if he takes this over. Maybe that's what Smoker was alluding to. I don't know if I'm connecting all the dots here or if it's so obvious that it slapped me in the face and I should have gotten it anyway. But that is my theory and thought on that, is that this Pluton is some sort of device, world-ending type of device, similar to like an atom bomb or something like that can certainly wipe out an entire country or millions and millions of people. So
that is the only thing that I can think of as far as Crocodile and his whole plan to change this and that and everything else, because he could then ward that over the world, pretty much as being a superpower and saying, hey, listen. So definitely, if that is the case, ties into, certainly our world that we live in, and, just the constant tightrope that everyone seems to be teetering on as far as different types of things with the United Nations. And this country's got, they've got nuclear weapons, and this one's developing nuclear weapons. This one's thinking about getting into nuclear weapons. And ultimately, if any of that happens in the wrong, and it falls into the wrong hands, I mean, the whole world could be obliterated by just a couple of errant pushes of a button. So, but enough about that. So that's what my thought is on that. And Cobra's kind of like, oh, you scoundrel, like that's what you're really here for. Again, I apologize for drinking water in the middle of a review, but throat's getting dry, getting sick. Can't help it. So just that time of year. It's been passing throughout my household for the last week or two, and I think I'm finally starting to feel the effects of it. So then we wind up going, and that's roughly, I don't know, the first like 5 or 6, maybe 7 pages of the chapter. The rest of the chapter then goes, and I hate it when they take it away. They're like in the middle, you're just balls deep into a battle, right? And then all of a sudden they take it away in the next episode, or the next chapter. I'm thinking, son of a bitch, And so anyway, the rest of the chapter, though, is Miss Doublefinger fighting Nami. And it's really kind of cool because we see that Nami, of course, is able to come into her own with things. Miss Doublefinger, however, is still just really not too impressed with her toy, with Nami's toy or Climate Baton, as she goes and kind of smashes some spikes into the wall and kind of pins Nami against. She winds up actually getting a piece of the Climate Baton away from her, and she's like, yeah, this toy's not going to beat me and this and that, So the rest of the battle winds up kind of just going a little bit of back and forth, but it's really more Nami kind of dodging and trying to avoid different attacks. And the things that I said at the beginning, I just thought were very funny things, because Oda has a way of coming up with these really cool moves that you can just picture like them calling out, as they're doing. So she winds up going and saying, and there's kind of enough of this fooling around type of thing again, and she winds up coming at Nami with this, she turns her hair into spikes, right? And, Nami's like a sea urchin. She's like, with urchin spike, or whatever she calls it, spiked urchin. And she comes flying at Nami, and Nami's able to dodge just in time. And she goes flying through this wall, and Nami's like, she makes mention of something about the heat that's generated around the wall. So the whole time this is going on, Nami is trying to go and get the Climate Baton working. She's trying to get the piece back from Miss Doublefinger. She's basically trying to get this thing so she can defeat her with it, And she winds up doing some kind of, it's a real funny thing that she has to do to get more moisture in the air, because she's going to try to use the climate to her advantage. And they explain a bunch of different stuff about barometric pressures rising and dropping and everything else. And it's all very weatherman-like. And not boring, but definitely not something I want to get into too much detail with. Just know that it was Oda thought, did a lot of thought and research into it, and a lot of the different things that he said, they really do coalesce with real life things as far as barometric pressures and heat, moisture in the air, all that type of stuff. So obviously Alabasta is a very dry climate, right? Doesn't get much rain, desert-like kingdom. So she needs to go and create some water, some moisture in the air. So she has one baton balancing on her head and the other two on her hands, and she starts doing like this kind of like rain dance, right? And there's water squirting everywhere, and then Miss Doublefinger's like, oh, what, now you're a fountain? So just really funny how in the middle of this, like, locking horns, Mortal Kombat to the finish type of thing, that you can also find a time to sit back and laugh a little bit and chuckle and smile. So this is definitely something that makes this probably my favorite series that I've ever read, comic book, manga, really anything. It's very, very fun. But also serious when it needs to be. So Miss Doublefinger then goes and she's like, that's it, enough of this shit type of thing. So she takes her fingers and turns them into spikes, and she just stabs herself in the shoulder. And I'm like, what is this crazy broad doing, right? So that's where she goes and she's like, spike you puncture, and you see that in the next page or whatever. And then she's just going, she's like ramming spikes. And basically when she does this, she jams her fingers into her. I don't get why. I don't know, I guess the spikes can come from her hair or maybe her hands or something like that, but to go and actually make them come from certain other parts of her body, I don't know. She turned into a porcupine once, though, so I guess that doesn't make any sense either. But anyway, she winds up jacking herself up with these things, and she winds up getting these huge spiked arms, And I used to watch a cartoon with my son called Ben 10, and I forget the name of the guy. I think it was called Diamond Head. But he had a similar look, like where it looked like he just had all these like spiky, huge arms, stalagmite type arms, And she goes and comes at Nami or whatever, and she winds up. During this battle, Nami's getting her ass beat too. Don't get me wrong, she's dodging a lot, but she's also getting her ass beat. She's gotten hit several times, she's gotten wounded, and what winds up happening is now she's got some moisture in the air, and she is able to go and put a cool ball and then a heat ball, but it's not really big enough and this and that. And right as Miss Doublefinger's about to come at her, for the killing blow again, she's able to go in and basically, well, not basically, she winds up using then the thunder portion of it, and it shocks the shit out of her, Now, it doesn't take her out, but it definitely stuns her and gives Nami time to, again, back away or duck or dodge, that type of thing. So, what is it, the 5 Ds in dodgeball? Duck, dodge, dip, dive, and I forget the other one. But anyway, so she winds up doing that. It's really just to buy herself time, and that now she knows she needs to create a bigger one. So then she goes and she's like, heat ball, cool ball, and she's trying to get him out there or whatever, because she's trying to go and create this, she thinks about this tornado blow that she can do, and that she has to wait for the right opening for it. So I think she's trying to go and kind of goad Miss Doublefinger into and piss her off enough to where she can get the right open, where she leaves herself open so she can use this final killing blow. So the chapter it ends up shortly after that, and it really kind of leaves you hanging, because as she's trying to go and build a bigger one and everything like that, Miss Doublefinger goes to come at her again and goes to nail her again. And it's so funny because Nami uses the clone, what do you call that, the distraction, the image, the mirage, function thing on it again, because Miss Doublefinger thinks she's got her dead to rights again, and then Nami's just like doing like a weather report, and she's like, well, there's the weather should be pretty calm today, but there is a slight chance of some isolated thunder and maybe mirages as well, and it's just kind of funny because now, again, she's trying to look for that opening, but in my opinion, she's trying to piss off Miss Doublefinger and goad her into attacking her. So things wind up, ending up again shortly after that, and it's her just about getting ready to kind of gear up and use this, use this Climate Baton for this tornado blow, for this finishing blow. So, but the chapter definitely leaves you off on a cliffhanger, and you have no idea what's going on. So, my chapter question, though, and we don't want to get too heavy into spoilers, so I won't really bother too much with the whole thing about the Pluton and everything else, because that'll probably be revealed in the next couple of chapters, and I'm hoping that I've hit the nail on the head. But what are your thoughts? I know I asked about the Climate Baton itself, but what are your thoughts on Nami's progression as far as just in this battle, as far as her kind of going from this sort of weak, timid running person to still using the tactics, the hit and run tactics, but basically, coming to the conclusion that there's no help here, I have to defeat this woman, and then, of course, kind of coming into her own. So my question, again, would be, Nami, and what do you think about her in this particular battle, her tactics, and what I believe she's trying to do to kind of lure Miss Doublefinger in for that killing blow. So whether you agree, love her, hate her, just leave your comments, the answer to that question in the comments down below. Feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button if you should think that I deserve it, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We look forward to catching y'all in the next one, Nation. But remember to always like, share, comment, subscribe, and really just kind of watch the videos and be a part of the nation. We love you all, brothers and sisters.